Deacon Thimote Cherelus looks like unnatural, but for many years, standing at an altar and wearing vestments was not in the plans. Yet, it was in God's plan. Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti. Deacon Thimote is about to become a priest, but just a few years ago, he was living a very different life. Course News' Jessica Easthope joins us now to introduce us to him. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Christine. He didn't want this. Deacon Thimote is the first one to say that he resisted his call to the priesthood for a very long time. But now he's given his life to his vocation and knows this is what he was meant to do.
Deacon Thimote Cherelus reaches into his right pocket and pulls out a rosary. It's the same one he's been praying with for more than a decade before he surrendered to the power of his vocation.
I was working, so I always have my rosary in my pocket, always, always. And when in that pocket, I never put anything in it.
Looking at Deacon Thimote on the altar, you'd imagine the priesthood is all he's ever dreamed of. And on one hand, you'd be right. When
I was like maybe 5 or 6, I used to play mass, with my brothers. I used to put on my mom's robe, at that age, the robe would cover my feet. So I used to play, whenever he gave me a piece of bread or juice, some juice, I played mass with my brothers.
But on the other hand, he had different dreams. At one point, Deacon Thimote found himself a bachelor and successful owner of 3 car washes back in Haiti, living what he thought was a full life.
I wanted to push it, because I didn't want it to be independent. That's what I wanted. That's why I created my own business. I dated, some girls, just as a distraction. But it was still empty. I wasn't really happy with what I was doing.
He went from pushing away his call with everything in him to pouring his whole self into serving God and his people. That part has always come naturally. After all, it was his desire to help others that drove his business. And now it's driving his vocation.
My business, I hire people, work with people to be like a leader for them. In the church, the same thing. That's my thing. It's like I have a fever. So that fever, I pray that, that fever is still, still in me until the end.
Deacon Thimote doesn't feel like he wasted any time pushing away what he always knew was inside him. The start of his priesthood has come right on time.
I follow the call, I follow desire without any pressure. Even though I say, it's late, but it's a little bit late, but it's the right time.
During his time in the seminary, Deacon Thimote has been serving at Our Lady of Miracles Church in Canarsie and has come to love the community there. And Christine, that's where he'll be saying his very first Mass as a priest.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Jess, I keep going back to the rosary. It just goes to show that each of these priests has their own style of practicing their faith, right?
Yes, and it's so interesting because that rosary, Deacon Thimote he's not a big prayer. He says that when he prays, he keeps it short and to the point. And one of the things that stuck out to me that he said that he always says when he prays is, Jesus, do with me what you will. Do whatever you want to me with me. And he did.
Wow. And now this is your 4th and final priest ordination is tomorrow. So what have you taken away from this year's class of deacons?
Yeah, like we talked about earlier in the series, I do this every year. And Christine, I am so excited for this group of guys. They really are such a unique group and they're so passionate. And I think that it goes to show you that priests are people. These guys have all had obstacles in their way when it comes to discerning their call, all problems they've had to overcome. Sure. They each have their background and they bring that with them to their ministry. And I hope that the people of the Diocese of Brooklyn feel like they've gotten to know them and that they know that they're here for the right reasons.
And I do feel like I've gotten to know them. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you so much.
And just a reminder, all 4 transitional deacons will be ordained in the Diocese of Brooklyn this Saturday, June 3rd, at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph in Prospect Heights. And you can be a part of it. Just tune in to Net TV to watch the ordination live. It begins at 11 a.m. A news alert tonight on what could be a major problem in New York City's humanitarian crisis. According to the mayor's office, only a tiny fraction of the migrants in the Big Apple have filed for asylum, meaning they cannot work legally. Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul have been pushing to speed up work authorizations for asylum seekers, which normally takes about 6 months. The idea is to get migrants working faster, which would allow them to move out of city shelters. Right now, some 45,800 migrants migrants are staying in 157 emergency sites set up around the 5 boroughs. Meanwhile, across the U.S., many businesses closed their doors Thursday as part of a nationwide protest. Organizers called it a day without immigrants. The strike was over an impending Florida law that imposes penalties for businesses who employ the undocumented. The law goes a step further. It will invalidate ID cards issued to immigrants from other states, among other restrictions. Those opposed to it say it'll affect a wide range of industries, from restaurants to farms across the country.
The moment one crop from here in South Florida, like tropical fruits, is not being harvested, it means it's not going to reach the people not just here in the state, but the rest of the country.
The laws will take effect July 1st. Just a few weeks ago, the Diocese of Brooklyn's Bishop Emeritus Nicholas DiMarzio was here on Currents News and spoke of the importance of the migrant workers. He says immigrants make up a vital workforce and the United States needs to reform laws.
There's still the need for workers is here. Certainly the agricultural worker problem is a big one. We got half of the people that work in agriculture are undocumented. So we wouldn't get our crops harvested if we didn't have them. So we got to look at the facts and say, look, we need to have immigration serve the country, the national interest. But we have to make some changes.
You can read more of Bishop DiMarzio's thoughts on this humanitarian crisis in his column in the tablet, Walking with Migrants. The latest edition is out now, speaking about the dangerous journey many Latin Americans take just for the chance of a new life. To read more and to see his previous articles, just go to thetablet.org. Turning now to the White House and the continuing anti-Catholic turmoil in Nicaragua. The Biden administration spoke out against the country's dictator, Daniel Ortega's attacks against the church.
This is all unacceptable. We condemn these actions. We've already taken a number of actions to promote accountability for the Ortega-Murillo regime's actions, including by imposing sanctions, and will continue to do so.
Countless atrocities have been going on for years, but some of the most recent, the regime seized 2 Catholic schools run by nuns and froze every diocese across the country's bank account. And before we go, do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.